blessed to get to spend a few days at my mom's house in Monterey. On one of those days, we took about a 12.5-mile walk, starting through Pacific Grove, then through Monterey and back up to my mom's house. We did 2 videos, one on what we love about Monterey. This one is what we love about Pacific Grove. We hope you enjoy it. We are in probably one of my favorite places in the whole world. One of them, there's many, but this is one of my favorite places in the whole world. Pacific Grove, Monterey, here on this beautiful walkway they have in Pacific Grove that goes to Monterey. And yesterday we had a survey on a boat that we're looking at buying. We're under contract, so that's exciting news. But we'll talk more about that in a future video. It was a long day of driving, about 4 hours from the Bay Area to here, and so today we've really been resting a lot, but it's just so beautiful. I think this is one of the most beautiful parts of the California coastline. And then the homes up above that look down are so gorgeous. Can't wait to be able to sail here. And then this is the Seven Gables Inn. So here we're looking back at Lovers Point, and if you're a fan of Big Little Lies, that little park, the green area, they had a little temporary set there that looked like a little coffee shop, I think. And that building there was actually a bathhouse at one time. It's a restaurant now, but people really, I guess fishermen and so forth, really used it as a bathhouse at one time. There's lots and lots of history here in Pacific Grove and Monterey. And then over here on this end, we're looking at, I believe that's the Stanford Marine Biology Center there. So beautiful, amazing part of the world. I just can't say enough about how much we really love coming here. My mom has a home here, so we've got to come here quite a bit. And before she bought the home here, she and I used to come here and visit and just walk the streets and kind of dream about having a home here. And there's so much wildlife. I'm looking down in the water. There was, I think, a sea lion that just dove where that seagull landed. But there's lots and lots of seals and sea lions. Oh yeah, there it is now. And sea otters. It's one of the few places I've seen sea otters. It's the time of year when the harbor seals have their babies. So I'll be on the lookout for that. I don't see any babies down there, but a lot of times this beach is just covered with seals. Blair and I often get coffee at Starbucks on Cannery Row and walk down here and just watch them. They're so fun to watch. Right now they're not doing much, but a lot of times they're a little more active. We are headed out for a walk around Pacific Grove, Monterey. Yeah. And one of the things we really like, we're just down the street from my mom's house, but it's just the cute houses. Some of them look like they've been around for kind of a long time, but look at the cute blue bottle garden, and just all these cute little houses. There's some more cute houses across the street here. Look at the beautiful flower garden in front of that one.
So we're now right by Asilomar, but next door, before you get into the deeper part of the grounds, is this little hotel that my dad stayed in one time, the Deer Haven Inn, a time when he visited, where we had a whole lot of people. One of my early conferences in my career was a Northern California group psychotherapy conference. I was still actually in training at that point, and came up here and stayed in the more historic part of the grounds up ahead. And then you'd break into a smaller group. There were probably about 12 of us plus 2 co-therapists as group therapists to train us. And so for the whole, from Friday later in the day until the end of the day Sunday, we were embedded into this group psychotherapy training process group. So it was really fun, but also amazing. It was the first time I ever came to Asilomar. This is the entrance to the Asilomar conference grounds, and exciting for me about this is that my mom, she was born in 1933, and in her later high school years, she came here to Asilomar with the Unitarian Church to do some leadership trainings. And I think she did that 2 summers in a row, and I believe her younger sister Claire might have overlapped with her one of those summers. So she was always so excited talking about Asilomar. So when I came to the group psychotherapy conference, it was just incredible to finally get to see this place that my mom had raved about. So this is the Scripps Lodge on the conference grounds. There are 13 of the older buildings that were designed by famous architect Julia Morgan in this really, it's considered one of the most spectacular constructions and applications of arts and craft architecture. She designed these from 1913 to 1928. And then up ahead we'll be coming to the Grand Receiving Hall. So up ahead there you can see the chapel, and it's a little hard to tell from here, but the Asilomar conference grounds are perched just only a little bit above Asilomar State Beach that's right down there, of course, on the Pacific Ocean. And then this is the large receiving hall, and of course both the chapel and the receiving hall are 2 of the historic buildings that famed architect Julia Morgan designed. The architecture is just spectacular and still relatively well preserved. This main entry area is named after Phoebe Hearst, mother of William Randolph Hearst, the famous newspaper magnate who later built Hearst Castle. And actually Julia Morgan, after she started at Asilomar, William Randolph Hearst liked her work so much that she then helped him to design Hearst Castle, and she was involved in that project from 1919 until 1947. Alright, so behind me you can see the Phoebe Hearst Social Hall. Asilomar was started by the Young Women's Christian Association in the late 1800s, and the idea of that group was to promote opportunities for women, including leadership opportunities. As things progressed, they eventually ran leadership conferences for up to 300 young women, and as the facility progressed, they eventually even led conferences for up to 500 people. After the Great Depression, they ran into hard times, and by 1933 they strongly considered selling the property, but managed eventually to hang on and continue running it as a dedicated conference facility with kind of expanded groups coming in for the conferences. Finally, in 1952, they had consideration of selling it to the state of California, and that deal was completed in 1956 when the conference grounds became part of the California State Park system. And then in the distance there you can see the Crocker Dining Hall, and right from this lovely patio just outside the Phoebe Hearst Social Hall, there is the beloved Pacific Ocean. And they kept the grounds landscape naturally, primarily have Monterey pine trees and Monterey cypress. Sadly, the Monterey pines have had a blight, and so they've been passing away over the years. So we're just walking down now past the dining hall and then heading toward boardwalks that lead us toward Asilomar State Beach. And just really want to give a shout out to my mom for, in my youth, she was so fired up about Asilomar and had such fun times here. And then I ended up attending quite a few conferences here. And here is a woodpecker just hanging out. Yep.
So they put these beautiful boardwalks in across the dunes to help to bring them back to life with all the natural vegetation again. I can't remember what year I was here with my parents. We just rented a room and enjoyed the facilities and the dining hall and the beach. But it's a lovely place. I think we both have really good memories here. And so this boardwalk leads across the dunes to the road, and then you cross the road and you're on Asilomar Beach.
And sadly, people had planted non-native ice plant, which completely took over. And so the restoration project was getting all of the non-native ice plant removed, and now all these native species have returned, and even look at the blooms up ahead.
But as you can see, we're getting closer.
Oh, this is the pink verbena going crazy.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Year. Wow.
And then we've got some California poppies up there as well.
Yeah.
Here we are at the end of the boardwalks, and we'll head across the street here and take a look at the beach. This is Asilomar State Beach, a really great beach to walk on for those who like to take beach walks. Just this really fine, wonderful, white, very light colored sand. You see lots of surfers out on the water. That direction is how you get onto the 17-mile drive that does a loop within their Pebble Beach and the Del Monte Forest, and then on the other side is Park. And then there's the beautiful Pacific Ocean. Instead of doing a beach walk today, we are going to head up north and walk along the rugged coastline in Pacific Grove to Monterey. So we'll now follow the trail system that goes along the cliffs and the beach here. One of the things that comes to mind that Blair and I have really enjoyed doing when we were here was bike riding around the 17-mile drive. If you're not a super strong bike rider, there you could just go along the coastline on the beach there. It's fairly flat, and enjoy a ride there out and back. But we've enjoyed doing the loop from time to time. There is some pretty steep hills, twisty roads, and some areas where there's really not much of a shoulder, but there's not a lot of traffic. But then you really get to see the sights, the famous Monterey pine, and just take your time and see a little bit more, and the different places you can stop and enjoy the ocean.
Yeah, the road biking is amazing, and the trick is to cycle it clockwise. The cars tend to go counterclockwise because they want to be in the right to pull into all the little parking areas along the coast. So if you go that way, you keep getting in the way of the cars. But if you go clockwise, you just fly through and the cars are no problem. Also, you stop by Pebble Beach, the fancy golf course, which is kind of a kick just to see, how the pretty rich upper crust live.
across the road is a lighthouse. It's actually a museum you can visit, and then there's also a golf course there in front of it. Hello. You've got a nice view here. They found themselves an interesting place to fish out there in the middle of the water on the rocks. So over here on the golf course, there's a couple of Canadian geese and they have babies. I won't get too close. You can see up here where the waves sometimes come over this wall. That's why there's a puddle there. It's pretty fun when the waves are that high. So here we're approaching Lovers Point from the south. Yesterday we approached it from the north. So here's Lovers Point Park. Sometimes you'll see weddings here. Down here close to the water is a mom and a pup. You can see where the surf just barely comes up and touch the mom right there. See, here it comes up again. Yeah, I think that's a mom and a pup. Now she's moving up the beach. Okay. Oh, that kind of helped him a little bit to get up there a little further. So yesterday I showed this from a distance on the trail, and Blair here actually went to a class there for his biology class at Stanford.
I think it was Biology 41. I'll have to look that up. Intro to Biology or some such deal. A long time ago.